Hi, this is Raja. Welcome to echem.com. Here I am to make chemistry easy for you. Let's start. Equivalent mass. Equivalent mass. Equivalent mass, it is nothing but the number of parts by mass of any element which combines with one part by mass of hydrogen or 36.5 parts by mass of chlorine or 8 parts by mass of oxygen or 108 parts by mass of silver. Okay, so we can write equivalent mass as of any element, equivalent mass of any element, that is equal to number of parts by mass that is equal to, which combines with one part by mass of hydrogen or which combines with 8 parts by mass of oxygen or 35.5 parts by mass of chlorine or 108 parts by mass of silver. So anyone we can take. So I'll give one live example here. So $1 to make a better understand the equivalent mass. So I'll give one example here. $1, it is equivalent to, in the Indian currency, 75 rupees. Just assumption. Okay, that means what? Here one part by the mass of this $, it is equivalent to 75 parts by mass of Indian currency. So this is what we can take a best example to make a better understand what is equivalent mass. Similarly, okay, here the atoms, okay, of the elements will combine to form the compound. The number of parts by mass, this is just number, so pure number, equivalent to 1 part by mass of hydrogen or 8 parts by mass of oxygen or 35.5 parts by mass of chlorine or 108 parts by mass of silver. Okay, that number of parts of any element, it has to be considered as equivalent weight or equivalent mass. This equivalent mass, it is a pure number, so that it can be varied compound to compound of the same element. Let's discuss that one. For example, I am taking here cuprous oxide and cupric oxide. Cuprous oxide, in this I want to calculate equivalent mass of the copper. So to calculate equivalent mass of any element, you have to use the formula equivalent mass of any element, that is equal to atomic mass of that element over its valency factor. Valency factor generally, so we could take as, okay, oxidation number for this, oxidation number, right? Now if I want to calculate here equivalent mass for this, equivalent mass for C2O, the case 1 I am taking here, okay, of copper, that is equal to equivalent mass of copper from above cupric oxide here, that is equal to atomic mass of this copper, that is 63.5 divided by its n factor, that will be a +1 to be taken. Why? Because oxygen is -2. 2 copper atoms Each copper should carry the +1, so that I am taking here the n factor as a 1. So obviously, so we can take for this as 63.5, okay, the equivalent mass for the copper in this compound. But if you take cupric oxide here, that is CuO, okay, in this equivalent mass of copper, if you want to calculate over here, so equivalent mass is equal, okay, atomic mass of the copper, that will be 63.5 divided by its valency factor is a -1 is +2, my dear. So that this +2 to be taken as the n factor for that, so to be taken as 2 here to calculate the equivalent mass for that. So obviously we will get 31.75 the equivalent mass for the copper in this compound. Look at this, equivalent mass for the same element will be a different in the calculation, so that equivalent mass will be varied compound to compound for the same element, that is depending upon the reaction conditions or the composition, okay, or the variation of the valency factor. So that the equivalent mass, it is the just number which can be changed or which can be varied composition to composition, it's not the same, right? Now I want to calculate equivalent masses for various compositions. If I want to calculate equivalent mass for the elements from the given compositions, okay, or if I want to calculate equivalent masses, okay, for the compounds, so various formulas being given. Let's have those formulas and calculation of equivalent masses over here. Okay, now I want to calculate equivalent mass for the acid compositions. Let's go for these acids. Calculation of equivalent masses. When you are calculating equivalent masses for acids, equivalent weight, you have to follow this formula. Equivalent weight of an acid that is equal to, so molar mass of an acid over, so it's a valency factor. That valency factor for the case of acids, to calculate equivalent mass, to be considered as basicity of an acids. Basicity of an acids. That is n factor. Basicity in the sense, it is the number of replaceable hydrogens for the given acid. Number of replaceable hydrogens, number of replaceable hydrogens for the given compositions, that could be taken as basicity. That is nothing but n factor to be taken here to calculate equivalent mass for given acid. For example, I am taking here the finding n factor, for example HCl I am taking. How many hydrogens are replaceable here? 1 hydrogen. Therefore n factor to be considered as 1 for this. So basicity of this HCl to be taken as 1. Suppose I am taking sulfuric acid H2SO4. So number of hydrogens replaceable in this 2. So that n factor to be taken as 2. Suppose the acid being taken H3PO4 orthophosphoric acid. The n factor for this to be taken as 3. Okay, why? Because this compound can have 3 polar OH groups. Could be written as like this, the structure. Okay, one trick I will give you to draw the structure here. H3PO4, phosphorus is the central atom. So among 4 oxygens, 1 oxygen make sure with a double bond. Remaining 3 oxygens with the 3 hydrogens as you have to be written as OH groups, which can have the polar in nature. These OH groups can release a hydrogen. They are ionizable hydrogens. So these hydrogens can be released by the OH groups. So how many OH groups are present around the phosphorus in this molecule, that has to be taken as, okay, basicity of this molecule. Okay, so that finally n factor to be taken for this molecule as 3. Similarly, if I take the compound H3PO3 orthophosphorus acid, in this molecule phosphorus, same situation, among no matter how many oxygens are there, among number of oxygens, one oxygen must be taken as double bond O. Right, remaining oxygens to be taken, okay, with the hydrogens as OH groups. Remaining number of hydrogens oxygens will be a 2, so that 2 OH groups we can keep taking 2 hydrogens. So the third hydrogen is left, that will be directly connected to the phosphorus. This is a trick to draw the structure. Okay, oxoacids of phosphorus. Now I got only just 2 the OH groups which can be released hydrogen, so that n factor for this to be taken as 2, not 3. Though the hydrogens, number of hydrogens 3 are present. Okay, one of the hydrogen directly connected to the phosphorus. This is a non-polar bond here. Why? Because hydrogen here the electronegativity 2.1, phosphorus 2.1. So electronegativity almost same. There is no electronegativity difference between phosphorus and hydrogen, so that this bond is a non-polar bond, so that this is non-ionizable hydrogen. So number of ionizable hydrogens just 2 we have in this, so that n factor will be a 2. Right. So next, so like this we have to go for the calculation of basicity for the acids. Okay. So some more examples I would like to give you. Okay, to find out the basicity of an acids. That one I am taking here H2C2O4. Name of this compound is oxalic acid. In this oxalic acid, the n factor so will be a 2. Why? Because 2 ionizable hydrogens are present in this case. Now next, one more. Okay, I want to give you, that is H3BO3 orthoboric acid. Orthoboric acid in this. Okay, this compound cannot be released hydrogen though the hydrogens are present in the molecule. The reason behind, these hydrogens are not free in the molecule. In aqueous medium, if you take this compound, these hydrogens are not free in the composition. The reason behind, these hydrogens, they are having interaction with the water molecules adjacently like this. But however, this compound, it is a weak acid, can release only one hydrogen in a water. Let's see how. So being this molecule as Lewis acid, electron deficient molecule, in which the boron readily accepts a pair of electron from the water molecule. So this boron having empty p orbital which readily accept a pair of electron from water molecule, so that it forms the structure as like this. This is a new bond with the water molecule is formed over here, plus charge, OH here, and OH. So now this proton attached to the water molecule formed oxonium ion here, that will be readily lost. Why? Because the oxygen is a more electronegative. Being a more electronegative, should not be carry the positive charge. To nullify that charge, positive charge, the pair of electron must be transferred. Okay, the bond pair of electron must be transferred, okay, to the oxygen, so that this hydrogen will be released out as H plus. Then there is a complex formation takes place here, BOH taken 4, the complex, and H plus. So this is H plus is responsible acidic strength or acidic character of this compound. So only one hydrogen is can be replaced or can be released out whenever this compound is put in a water. Okay, so that n factor to be taken for this as 1 for orthoboric acid. Right? So like this, the basicity of an acid, so we could calculate it to calculate equivalent masses of the acids. Let's go for the calculation of equivalent masses here for acids. Right. Right. So now I want to calculate, for example, I want to calculate equivalent mass for sulfuric acid. I want to calculate. Right. So what is the formula we have? Equivalent mass is equal to molar mass. Equivalent mass is equal to molar mass over n factor. This is the formula we have to calculate equivalent mass. That is equal to molar mass of the sulfuric acid. That will be 2 plus 32 plus 64. That is equal to 98. 64 plus 32 plus 2. So 98. 6 plus 2, 8, and then 98. Yes, it is correct. Right, okay. So 98 is the molar mass for this sulfuric acid. I calculated. That is equal to 98 or n factor. How many hydrogens replaced from one molecule here completely for complete dissociation of 1 mole? We have to take for complete dissociation of 1 mole. Okay, giving 2 hydrogens here, 2 ionizable hydrogens will get, so that n factor will be a 2. So obviously the equivalent mass for this to be calculated 49. So like this, okay, any acid composition will be given, so you can calculate equivalent mass for that. Right. So let's move next composition, that is a base. Let's calculate the equivalent masses for bases. Equivalent masses for bases. Right. So equivalent mass for bases is equal to molar mass of the base over n factor. Here n factor of the base to be considered here to be taken acidity of the base. Acidity of the base, that is n factor. Acidity of the base that is equal to number of OH minus ions produced by the base, that is acidity of the base. Okay, so this has to be considered as n factor here, right? So if you want to calculate the n factors for this basis, let's see how it has to be. I am taking one example here, that is sodium hydroxide. This sodium hydroxide can release 1 OH, so that n factor to be taken as 1. Potassium hydroxide can be released 1 OH hydroxyl group, that's why n factor to be taken as 1. And magnesium hydroxide, this can give 2 OH groups. It can produce 2 OH groups in aqueous medium, so n factor to be taken as 2. Aluminium hydroxide, if you take aluminium hydroxide, n factor to be taken for this 3. Zinc hydroxide, n factor to be taken as 2. So like this, any compound, okay, consisting the OH groups which can produce OH groups into the aqueous medium, that number of OH hydroxyl groups to be considered as n factor for that particular base. Now let's calculate here equivalent masses for the bases using this formula here. For example, I am taking here calcium hydroxide. Equivalent mass I want to calculate now. Equivalent mass, how much? So equivalent mass of this calcium hydroxide, equivalent mass is equal. Consider the molar mass of this calcium hydroxide. I am taking here as capital M. I am not calculating, just I am assigning as capital M, divided by this calcium hydroxide can release 2 OH groups into the aqueous medium, so that n factor to be taken as 2. So equivalent mass for this calcium hydroxide to be calculated m by 2. One more example also could be taken here. For example, I am taking aluminium hydroxide. Let's calculate equivalent mass for aluminum hydroxide over here. Equivalent mass for aluminum hydroxide, that is equal molar mass of this aluminum hydroxide is M over number of produced hydroxyl groups from 1 mole of the compound. For 1 mole compound you have to be considered 1 mole of the compound will be a 3, so that equivalent mass for this aluminum hydroxide to be taken as M by 3. Like this we can calculate equivalent masses of the bases taking their n factors with the help of molar masses. Right, now let's calculate here the equivalent masses for salts. Equivalent masses for salts. Equivalent masses for salts. Salt is what? It is a combination of cation and anion. That we can say salt. So in the salt, one element so must be a cation, whereas another element must be a anion. Fine. So it is a combination of cation and anion. Right. So now here to calculate equivalent mass for salts, that is equal to, so molar mass of the salt or formula mass same only over its n factor. N factor, that is nothing but for the case of the salts to calculate equivalent masses. Total charge carried by the cation or anion, whatever may be, you can take anyone, that has to be considered as n factor. Right, for example, I am taking here aluminium trichloride, AlCl3. In this compound, aluminium chloride will be dissociated as Al3 plus 3Cl minus. Total charge aluminium is carrying this plus 3, the cation, so that n factor to be taken as 3 for this case of the salt. For example, one more I want to give you, magnesium chloride, MgCl2. Magnesium chloride on dissociating giving here magnesium ion and Cl minus ions. So what charge the magnesium is carrying here? Plus 2. Therefore the n factor to be taken as 2 for this case. So like this, so we can calculate the n factor for the given salt. One more, the salt I would give you calculation of n factor. For example, aluminium sulfate I am taking here. In this aluminium sulfate, this could be dissociated as aluminium 3 plus SO4 2 minus. 2 moles of aluminium 3 plus and 3 moles of sulfates. So n factor, if you want to calculate total charge into, it's a coefficient into charge, that is the n factor dear. So that is equal to 3 into 2 6, so that n factor for this, for 1 mole of the compound, total charge carried by this aluminium, 2 aluminiums are present in 1 mole of the compound, so the total charge carried by 2 aluminium ions will be how much? 6. So that n factor to be considered as 6 for the case of aluminium sulfate. Likewise, any compound you take and find out the n factor. Now, if I want to calculate equivalent mass for this aluminium sulfate, equivalent mass is equal to, consider total molar mass for aluminium sulfate as capital M, and its n factor will be a 6. This is the equivalent mass calculation for the aluminium sulfate, M by 6. Like this, we can calculate the equivalent masses taking the salts. For different compositions, we have a different formulas to calculate equivalent masses. Why? Because equivalent mass is a just number to calculate the number of parts by mass. Right? So I hope you understood. Thank you so much. If you like my video, please subscribe. Thank you so much.